Hello. All right. Hi, Raina and Joanne. Good morning. Okay, I'm in London. So it's amazing. This whole week, I actually taught all my classes, and I wasn't sure if I was going to. But I know that Thursday and Saturday classes I didn't teach at the beginning of my vacation. So I wanted to make it a point to show up. So hello, Nancy. Good morning. It's crazy. So I'm in London and usually it rains, right? I was in Scotland for 6 days. It was 15 minutes of rain in 6 days. I am not kidding. I think I brought the sunny weather with me. And today in London, it was 56 degrees and partially sunny, like mostly blue skies, couple of clouds here and there. Can you believe it? Last night when we arrived here at what time did we get here? 2:20. By the time we got to our hotel around 3:30, definitely raining, but not too crazy. Went to the National Gallery. For those of you that have been to London, one of my most favorite museums is the National Gallery because it's crazy. The National Gallery has Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Monet, Manet, Renoir. I mean, it's like, wow. Van Gogh's sunflowers are there. Renoir's self-portrait at 35, and then again, I believe at 65 is there. It's just, what? Really? I mean, it's just so amazing. So I don't know if you've been to London, but at the National Gallery, I highly recommend. Stevie, good morning. All right, ladies. So here we are. And I guess it is about time to start. All right, so I left the window open, 5:30 here. So wait, 5:30? Yeah, it's 5:30 here. So it'll probably get dark maybe at the end of today. So we'll see. But if you want to ask me anything or share anything with me, please do so. Steve, I don't know if you're out there, but if you are, hello. Lee, if you're out there, hello. Tatiana, hello from Atlanta. Only 5 hours, right? So for you, it's 12:30. And you all know that tonight is daylight savings. So we turn our clocks back. Spring ahead, fall back. So we spring ahead. It's not that we lose an hour. Like, I hate to say it like that. We're not really losing an hour. We're just changing. It's really crazy. I was in a castle, one of my favorite castles in Scotland. And in one of the bedrooms on the wall, I found out now that it's a sundial. Let me see if I could find it. I got a book of it. Oops. So here's the castle. It's called Otter Castle. It's one of my most favorite castles ever. It's on a cliff. And the ruins, like some of the buildings are from 13th century. Most of them are from 17th century. And in one of the bedrooms, there's a stone on the wall that looked like a clock. And then it said it was a sundial. And I just thought, wow, us humans were so, time like runs everything for us. So when I saw that on the wall, I thought that was crazy. I'm like, really? They had clocks? But then I found out it's a sundial, yet it has all the numbers. I mean, I don't know if all sundials are like that, where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, like Roman numeral. Anyway, I took a picture of it, but I know that I saw it in my book somewhere. Now, of course, I can't find it. Anyway, amazing castle, Ten Otter. See that? It's up on top of this cliff that you walk up to. It's really cool. And then today was cream tea at Fordham and Mason, which is a fancy schmancy high tea place. And I normally stay away from gluten and dairy. And then every now and then, of course, I treat myself. So I will balance it off with lots of green smoothies and soups and salads when I come home. Definitely have to recover from this trip. Carolyn, good morning. So the sun must be the thing. Is it really sunny there? Because both of you use sun. Yeah. Aw. Yeah, Raina, thank you for saying thank you. And this is my life too, right? So I am eating crazy stuff that I normally wouldn't. and I'm walking crazy amounts. I don't even know how many steps I've done today. I'll go out again tonight after I teach. And this is the way that I balance it. So everything in life is a balance. And if you want to play hard, then you need to keep your body strong and supple. You have to keep your body strong and supple, your joints lubricated. And, I'm over my mid 50s now. So my body's degenerating. And if I don't do something all the time for my body, then it's going to break down. And I don't want that. So teaching and having a schedule of 5 classes a week for you all, but for me too, it's reciprocal here. So, and I believe it's the answer. Martha, good morning. Sunny, wait, 19? Did you say 19? Oh, geez, Martha, I don't know if you heard me, but I'm in London and it is 56 degrees here and mostly sunny with a few clouds. It's like, what? I was in Scotland. It was 53 degrees. So poor Chicago. But I know you like that, right? Don't you have a husky or a big fluffy dog too? A German Shepherd maybe or something? Wow. All right. Well, I'm coming home tomorrow. So I will get to see all of that. Yeah. This is the end of my trip, Martha. I began in Brighton, South London. I then went to Spain. My youngest daughter is studying there. I was in Spain for 6 days. I'm here with my 3 children, which has been interesting, even though they're adults. I don't know about that. Something about these kids, they just don't seem to grow up. Anyway, I know this is recorded. Anyone can view this, even them. No, they're great. It's been great. So then I went to Spain and then I went up to Scotland, which is where my family is from, and saw family and friends. And now I'm down in London for 2 days and I fly home tomorrow. So yeah. Okay, great. All right. Well, I'm glad that it's going to be 60. All right. Okay. So if any of you want to ask me anything, tell me a body part that's bothering you, then I can share some things to do for the body part you're going to share with me. Otherwise, and I will, even if you say that there's something going on, I think what I'd like to share is today, because this is called Yoga for Stress Reduction, I always think, how will I bring that in? Well, everything is related to stress. Everything, if there's too much stress, not good things happen. So whether it's aging or eating too much or too cold or too hot or whatever, right? So I'd love to share with you today a practice to keep us all as strong as we can be as we age. And I'm going to actually you'll see, I'm going to do something today that's a little different maybe, but we'll see. I think it'll be great because I'll give you all the modifications. So I'm going to go back because nobody said anything, but if you did want to, go ahead. I'll see that you said it. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to my post and hopefully you can see me. I know I'm a little silhouetted because I chose to have the window open so that you could see outside in London. And that building that's right over there, I don't know if you could see it, it has the darker bricks, like you could tell that it's an older building. And I mean, I'm sure all of them are, right? So anyway, that's that. I've got a nice picture of the Bridge of London on the wall. All right, so for today's practice coming to you from London, England, I am going to use whatever I found. And here I have a pillow that I will use and this nice chair that's here. I think legs up the chair is probably one of the best ways to relax lower back. And I know a lot of people have low back issues. And if you find yourself doing a lot of activity, walking, gardening, anything where you're doing a lot of activity, then there will be a need for that. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this light because right now I'm backlit and it's probably better to have this in the front. All right, let me do maybe better, hopefully better. A little bit, yeah, that's better. All right. So today's practice, I'm going to use a chair. You decide whatever you'd like to use. You could use a wall. You could use a chair. You could pile up pillows. You could do nothing at all and bend your knees and put your feet on the ground or let your body go flat, whatever. The beginning is to slow down the mind, to stop the stimulation that is around us always, and to come to this present moment, to prepare, to really start to become acquainted with your somatic awareness, your body. And so to bring yourself inward. When we lie flat, the closer to the ground or the closer to a flat lying position you are in, the quicker the nervous system will be stimulated into a relaxation zone. So I am going to lay down flat. If that's not appropriate for you, you could prop up pillows and start with more of an angled position, because you need to make this practice for you. And it's not, I'm going to show you what I show you, and then you modify accordingly. That's what is really important. So I'm going to bring my pillow here, my chair here. Now I know that my legs won't go all the way on there. And the really important thing, if you do use a chair or an ottoman or a table or pillows, is to have your entire leg supported, and especially this part of your leg. So this part of your leg here needs to be supported the most, not this part here. So if you could do the whole leg, great. But if you can only do a part of the leg, let it be the part by the knee. And so I'm going to turn my chair like this because I don't know that this width is not enough for my lower leg. So we're going to come down onto the ground and bring yourself into whatever position works for you. And that's if you are doing a chair, and then you don't have to do a chair. So I will say that for me, what I notice is this chair is slightly, there's a reach here, so I need to elevate my pelvis. So I'm actually going to use the pillow that I have underneath my pelvis, because that is going to put me in a much better position. And I'm okay with not having anything behind my head. Now I know that for many that wouldn't be the case. And then let's arrange your torso. So slide your shoulder blades as close as you could get them to your spine. And if you press the elbows into the ground, lift your torso up, you'll be able to do that for yourself. The little postural correction, get nice and deep, some of those muscles that attach the arms to the body. And then bring your arms out to the side, wherever for you feel a good stretch. And some of you may be able to lift your arm a little higher. And some of you may be able to keep your hands on the ground and slightly bend the elbows. And then wherever you are, lengthen the back of your neck. Close your eyes. Start to notice whatever it is you notice. Whatever senses are stimulating or are stimulated. Are there any sounds? Do you feel anything in your body, in your ears, your nose, your heart beating? And with the eyes closed, find the position that's going to give you some kind of stretch posturally. So whether that's in the arms, the chest, the shoulders. Taking today out of your body. Whatever activities you've done today or will do today or did yesterday. Relax your eyes, your cheeks. Wiggle your jaw side to side. Let your lips meet, back teeth separated. Let's do a little to relax any tension that may be in the upper back and neck. Take an exhale. Inhale. And on the next exhale, slowly let your head rock towards one side for the whole exhale. And then when you're ready to inhale, slowly bring yourself back up to center. The next exhale, slowly all the way to the other side. Inhale back up to center. Exhale into the stretch, releasing, letting go, lengthening in that release, inhaling back to center. And then finish your last movement. And bring yourself back up to center. Let your head be heavy, let go. Feel the heaviness of your head on the ground. Keep your lips closed. Begin to focus on the breath at the nose. And then bring your awareness to your lower ribs. Direct your breath here to the front of the low ribs, the side of the low ribs, the back of the low ribs. Try to expand as much as you can on the inhale. Releasing slowly, slowly, letting everything go back to where it came from, and then squeeze a little more to squeeze out as much breath as you can. Your diaphragm, which surrounds your lower ribs, the voluntary action is the inhale. So when you inhale, expanding front, sides, and back, that's voluntary. That's a muscular action. The exhale is involuntary. It's a recoiling, and the diaphragm goes back to its natural state. And then you squeeze a little bit more, squeeze, 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 squeeze your lungs, squeeze your ribs to squeeze your lungs. Release even more breath, and you'll feel that that will deepen the next inhale, drawing in even more oxygen. Beneficial for energy production, beneficial for immune health. So keep your awareness at the lower ribs, front, sides, and back. Awareness at the lower ribs, expanding front, sides, and back. Inhaling. Exhale, contract your rib cage slowly. And at the very end, when you think all the breath is out, squeeze out more, like you're giving your torso a very big hug. Deep breaths, front, sides, and back of the low ribs. I'm going to add a counting. See if we can count for 6 and 6. And I'm going to add on to that exhale to 8. So let's prepare. Take a big exhale. Inhale, front, sides, and back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Adding on, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Continue on your own. Breathe into the front, sides, and back of the low ribs. Extend your exhale and squeeze the breath out of you. If you get distracted, bring yourself back to what you're doing. Your awareness is at your low ribs as you breathe in. Your awareness is squeezing the breath out of you, slowly and lengthening your exhale. Finishing the breath you're on. Take 3 more breaths after that. Finishing the last breath. On your next exhale, let your head rock to one side. Inhaling back up to center. Exhaling to the other side. Back up to center. Moving through exhale to the side. Inhale back to center. Bring yourself back to center. Bring your awareness to your body. Let it breathe itself as it does for you all the time when you're not thinking about it. Notice the quality and the pace of your breath. Notice if it is slower and relaxed. Notice if it goes below the heart and if there's movement at the lower ribs. Bring your awareness to your fingers, your toes as you start to bring movement into your feet, your hands, your wrists, your ankles, your knees, drawing your knees into your chest. Bring yourself onto your side. Let's stay here for a second. And then go ahead and push yourself all the way up. So I'm not sure if you heard all the noise when we first began. There's a lot of stuff happening outside. And what I realized is that probably was happening for a long time. I've been here preparing for the last hour. I didn't hear any of that. And so it's so interesting when you close your eyes, how the other senses turn on. And in this case, the sense of sound. And that's usually what happens when the eyes close, the ears, and the sensory aspect of feel turns on. Really amazing. And when it comes to balance for fall prevention, when we're walking or doing things in our daily life, the eyes and the ears play such an important part of balance. So it's just really interesting how we notice things sometimes and then we're totally oblivious to it. And then when we try to get quiet ourselves, the noise happens. And that's a really important thing about sleep. If you have any issues with sleep, it's really important that we take breaks throughout our day, and especially times in our lives when we're really stressed out or experiencing something really heavy emotionally in our lives. Because if you don't take the time out throughout your day to go to a place of quiet, to go to a place of withdrawal, sensory withdrawal. In the yoga world, the Sanskrit term is pratyahara. Pratyahara is sensory withdrawal. And it's when we don't pay attention to external, anything externally sensory. So with sight, with sound, with tastings, we're not eating, we're not looking, we're not listening. When you bring yourself into an inward, you practice coming inward, that actually is the prep for meditation in the 8 limb approach to yoga. It's the step before we go into concentration and then deeper forms of meditation. But it's also a way for us to learn stress management, to set ourselves up for success as really great, our really good ability to manage stress. So especially when there's a lot going on, it could be listening to birds. It could be sitting outside in the garden, practicing throughout your day, throughout your life, so that it's a tool and a resource available to you, especially the times you really need it. And I noticed that for myself, the place that I mostly live in a pretty relaxed place, even when the going gets tough and things are happening. Because I've practiced for so many years and often, and I have this understanding of this, it allows me to have this resource when I really need it. So legs up the chair, the wall, or anything, sensory withdrawal, pratyahara. If you want to read more about that, Praytara, pratyahara. Of course, it's Sanskrit, so that's the I can't remember what that word is when you, transliteration, I believe it's what the word is. Okay. So we're going to start to do some movement, and I'm going to move my props off to the side, and you will do the same so that you create a nice space for yourself. So we are going to go down onto the ground. I'm going to choose to use no props because for me, my posture is fine for me to not have anything underneath my head. But for many of you, having a blanket underneath your head or a pillow would be more comfortable. Now, the moves that I'm going to do today are going to be very core focused, a lot of leg strengthening. You're going to do it at your pace. I'm going to give you alternatives and modifications if you need. But I really would like to take this time out to say something about what we're going to be doing. Your spine is 26 bones, 26, 2 in the pelvis, and then 24 that are mobile. Some of the movements we're going to do, this, if you have osteoporosis, this is for those of you with osteoporosis. Now, with osteopenia, which is bone density up to negative 2.5 or really 2.4, 2.5 is when it becomes osteoporosis. With osteoporosis, you want to make sure, especially this region, right by heart to right in this part of your body, that you do not bring this closer to each other. You don't bring flexion, it's called. You don't push down in the front of your spine. So when we're on the ground, if we're doing anything where legs are coming into the chest and if head is coming off the ground, you want to make sure. And I will say that when we're up there, but I wanted to do this in a seated position so you would be a little bit more aware of that. And the thing is, because we will be on the ground, we do have the ground, which is going to be very helpful for this front part. So it's actually the actual act that we're going to be on the ground is good. Okay, this was not straight. It's kind of bothering me. All right. Okay. So we're going to come down into the ground. Let's come all the way down onto the ground. Get whatever props you need. I'm going to do this propless. All right. So let's have your knees bent. Arms out to the side is good because this stretches the arms and the chest and the front of the spine. And so I like to do legs, arms out to the side, and the knees are bent here. Have your feet be almost as wide as your mat if you're on a mat. If you're not on a mat, just imagine what a mat distance would be. Let's begin by moving our knees a little bit, side to side, keeping the feet on the ground. So keep your feet on the ground, the soles of the feet. So you start to bring a little bit of lubrication into your body. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take a big exhale. As you inhale, let your knees go in one direction, let your head go in the other. Exhale, firm up your core. So hug your belly button or push your belly button towards your spine. Inhale, let your knees go the opposite direction, head opposite of knees. Exhale, zipper up the midsection or contract the core in whatever way works for you. Inhale, head opposite of the knees. Exhale, contract your core to come back up to center. Inhale and exhale. For those of you that have low back issues, close your eyes and be in your low back. Really contract your core so you push your belly button towards your spine. That'll be nice and supportive and protective of low back. Exhale to come back up to center. Inhale to come into the stretch. Move with breath. So slow down. Slow down your movement, slow down your breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Hopefully you felt your belly starting to stretch. Take your legs wide, maybe off your mat. And then you're going to exhale. Inhale, let your legs go towards one side. Head goes the opposite. Exhale back to center. Inhale. Exhale. And noticing with the wider leg stance, do you feel it in a different location or do you feel a deeper stretch? Now I feel this mostly in the front of my body on one side because I've got some stuff going on in my pelvis with my hips, one replacement, one natural. And I say that, I know many of you know that, but for those that, if they're watching this recorded and they don't know that, I like to reiterate that. And we all have stuff. There's not a lot of symmetrical bodies. Most of us have issues going on somewhere, something. But I want you to notice here, where is the stretch, and try to keep it in the sides or the front. Don't really let it go to your back. So that means you're not trying to push your legs to the ground. This is not about your legs touching the ground. This is about your legs moving as much as they can in the socket, the hip joint. The next time you come to the left, stay there. Let your legs go to the left, let your head go to the right. Lift the right arm just off the ground a little bit, or let the fingernails touch and bend the wrist. Reach your right side long, long, long. Try to push the right hip up towards the sky. Really lengthen your body here. And then breathe to your right side. Breathe to the right lower lobe of the lung. Breathe to the right waist. Breathe to the right belly. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's go to the other side. Head goes to the left, knees go to the right. Take your left hand, let the fingernails graze the ground or slightly hover. Flex the wrist. Close your eyes. Breathe to your left side. Push your left hip up towards the sky. Breathe to your upper left lung by your heart. Breathe to your left lower belly, left waist, left lower ribs, left side lower ribs, left low back. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Let's bring the knees back to center. Let's walk the feet closer to the body. Hands are beside you. Pick your pelvis up. Move your pelvis to the right. So only the pelvis is moving. You still have your rib cage on the ground. Put your pelvis on the right. Bring your left knee in, your right knee in. Take your hands out to the side. Bring your knees pretty high to your chest. See if you could come into a twist, keeping your rib cage on the ground. Now, this is where some of you may need a pillow between your knees. You may need a block under your knees or between your knees. So it depends on what your range of motion is. Pay attention to low back here. So for those of you with low back issues, we are stretching low back muscles. Pay attention. Now pay attention to your pelvis. Push your pelvis away from you with your muscles and lengthen your right waist from lower ribs to top of the right pelvis. So you could think about pushing the whole pelvis away, or think about that right top leg, pushing it away from you towards the wall across the room. If you'd like to take a hold of the right leg with the left hand, do that. Let the right arm be out to the right and find the deepest stretch you can. Try to keep the right shoulder blade on the ground unless your low back doesn't like this and your body needs your right shoulder blade to not be on the ground. So do what's appropriate to you. See, notice where you feel this, what feels appropriate to you. Really deep right body stretch. Knees to the left. And then breathe to your right side, the right waist, the right low ribs, side ribs, back ribs, the whole back of the right upper rib cage, to the right underarm, to the right upper ribs. Use your breath to help stretch you deeply inside. And keep pushing the pelvis away from you so you feel as much stretch as you can. And sometimes if you push your right hand into the ground, it'll turn on the back muscles. Maybe that gives you relief. You could try it to see. When I say relief, for some of you, you may need that. Take one more breath. And then in order to come out of this, let's do this nice and slow. So take the right knee up towards the chest. Start to bring the right leg
over, so your left leg is still on the ground or hovering or on a block. And then you start to roll onto your body, lift your left leg up. Let's put the knees on the ground, the feet on the ground. Take the arms out to the side. Pick your pelvis up, put your pelvis back to center for a second, and go back and forth, side to side, right where the sacrum is in the base of the pelvis, a little side to side, just to see what's happening there in the body. Your rib cage is on the ground. Your pelvis is on the ground. Arms are to the side. Walk the feet closer. Pick your pelvis up. Push your pelvis over to the left now. Pelvis goes to the left. Rib cage stayed where it was. And then draw the right knee in. Draw the left knee in. Knees are pretty close to your chest. You don't want to have your knees away from you. It's a lot of tension for the low back. So draw the knees as close as you can to your chest. And then start to let the legs go over to the right. See if you could keep your left shoulder blade on the ground, your left rib cage, left side of your rib cage, if you can. And then if you need to put a pillow or a block underneath your left, either your right leg or your left leg, try that. And then you bring your right hand on top of your left leg if you can or would like to, or underneath the left, like in between the right and the left leg, holding the weight of the left leg bone. So just experience what feels appropriate for you. And bring your awareness to your pelvis, close your eyes, and start to lengthen your waist, lengthen your body, push your pelvis away from you. Try to create as much of a stretch, an appropriate stretch in your body. Closing your eyes to make sure whatever you're doing feels appropriate. Notice where this is. For those of you with low back issues, sometimes that protective aspect of the low back muscles want to go into a contraction state because it's trying to protect you. So close your eyes and make sure whatever you're doing is appropriate. And then breathe to your left side. Breathe to your left low ribs, side ribs, back ribs. Breathe to your left waist. Breathe to your left armpit, upper ribs, heart. And pay attention to your body. Move your arm maybe a little higher, maybe a little more of a bend at the elbow. Maybe you feel this in your armpit, maybe not. And then take one more breath. You're going to draw your left leg up, closer to your chest, over. You start to rock onto your body, then you let the right leg follow. Put your feet on the ground. Lift your pelvis up, put it back into neutral. Feel the sacrum in the ground, and do a little side to side across the middle of your pelvic area. So twisting is actually something you have to be careful with, because we're taking the lower pelvis and we're twisting it to the side. It feels amazing. It's the best way to stimulate parasympathetic relaxation, but it's also, there's a lot of things to pay attention to there. It also actually helps to stimulate bone growth because the muscles are interwoven in the spine, and it pulls on the spine bones from many different angles. But you have to be really careful. So for myself, because I have a hip replacement on the left side, when I do that left side stretching, I cannot help but go to that. Mine's a posterior hip, so it is the internal rotation that could cause dislocation, which my doctor told me that would never happen. Yet the protection of my body and that inner intelligence goes there to be protective. I go there to feel, am I pulling too hard? And so you have to understand your own body. For those with low back issues, the twisting can really do that same thing for your low back muscles, your quadratus lumborum, and some of your oblique muscles that twist the trunk. So we do these postures, but you also have to be very in your body, be very aware when you do them. And twisting is one of the movements that can actually cause injury for people. So I cannot say enough how much you have to be very aware there with yourself. Okay. So the counter position for a twist is a back bend. Let's do a little bit of back bend work here. So if you do have something underneath your head, take it away. Put the center of your head on the ground. Put your elbows into the ground and lift your chest off the ground so your shoulder blades go onto the ground. And then walk your feet a little bit away from your body. If you have a block and you want to put a block between your knees, you can put a block between your knees. We're going to do a little floating bridge to introduce the back bend into the body. So take your hands down alongside your body. Let's first tilt the pelvis. So take an inhale, let the low back move away from the floor, but keep your tushy on the floor. You're not lifting your tushy away. You're just letting your low back come away from the ground. And on the exhale, you're contracting the core, pressing the belly button to the spine, flatten the low back into the ground, feel the top edge of the pelvis touch the ground. And on the inhale, you rock from the sacrum to the tailbone. Low back is coming away from the ground. Tushy stays on the ground. Exhale, push the belly button to the spine, flatten the low back. Close your eyes and feel this posterior and anterior tilting of your pelvis. Inhale, exhale. Back bending in the lumbar spine, flexion and extension. Inhale, low back moves away. Exhale, low back flattens. You can have your hands down alongside your body. Inhale, exhale. Exhale, flatten the low back. Inhale, rock all the way to the edge of the tailbone. Exhale, flatten the low back and start to lift the tushy up and peel your spine away from the ground up to the heart. And then press your back down onto the ground. Exhale, flatten the low back, peel your spine up and away. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Try to move as big as you can in your spine here and in your pelvis. Bring yourself all the way back down. Palms face each other, thumbs are up towards the sky. Your feet are body distance. You either have a block between them or they're body distance. Lengthen the back of the neck, pick the head up, tuck the chin towards the chest. Exhale. Inhale, push your feet into the floor, flatten your low back, and then peel your spine away. Let your right hand come up, leading with your thumb. Let your head rotate to the left. Exhale slowly to lower. Inhale, push your feet into the floor, leading with your left hand, thumb up towards the sky, head goes to the right. Only peel your spine up to about below your heart. So don't lift too high here when you're rotating your head side to side. Lift the arm up and over. Do whatever range of motion your shoulders will let you do. Push your feet into the floor, using the back of the body, the lower body here, the legs, the hamstrings, the glutes. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. One more each side, inhaling. And then bring yourself back to center. Take a break for a second. Let's take the legs a little wide here. Bring them closer to your body. Lift your pelvis up, lengthen the low back. Press the low back into the ground. Press the top edge of the pelvis into the ground. And then draw your knees in a wide position. Draw your knees in side to side. Take your right ankle over your left ankle and hold onto your feet. So you could look up with your head here and grab your feet. It's actually easier to do that than you would realize. Then push so your right ankle is over your left and your lower leg bones are touching each other. And then draw your knees in pretty deeply. This is going to stretch the glutes, stretching posterior hip capsule, low back. And then let's switch. Left leg over right, reaching, holding onto your feet, pressing your legs into themselves, and then rocking side to side. Let's put your feet back down. Blanket is away from the back of your head. So if you did put it back on your head, take the blanket away. We're going to continue with the bridge. Lift your head up, lengthen the back of your neck, push your arms into the ground, lift your ribs off the floor, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. You can either have your arms like this, where your elbows are bent, palms face each other, fingertips up towards the sky, because we're going to lift our body a little higher now off the ground. We're going to continue with the bridge, really working the back of the body and the spine area, so strengthening your spine, undulating your spine. So take your legs a little wide, actually either all the way the edge of the mat or off the mat. And have your arms down alongside your body, lengthen the back neck. Exhale, push your belly button to your spine, flatten your low back. And as you inhale, peel your spine up. You're going to go a little higher now. You're going to lift off all the way above the heart. Exhale to place your spine back down on the ground, one vertebra at a time. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Stay here for a breath. Inhale and exhale. Let's do it the opposite. So inhale here. Exhale, push into the floor, lift up on the exhale. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Last one, exhale to lift. Stay up here for a few breaths. And then bring yourself all the way down. Walk your feet closer together and then walk them in. Hold on to your knees. If you need something behind your head, go ahead. Put something back behind your head. And then let's come into a full body position. Straighten your body, really stretch your body glove. Stretch. Feel a stretch here. Take an inhale. On the exhale, draw the right knee in. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, left knee in. Inhale, lengthen. Right knee. Lengthen. Left knee. Continue doing this. You exhale to draw your knee in. Doesn't matter how far in it gets. Doesn't matter where you grab it or if you do. You could drag your leg on the ground and not even touch your knee if you wanted to, if it was too much. That's still going to be doing some core work. Coming into lengthened position. If the shoulders don't like to move, let it be just the knee movement. Strengthening the legs, strengthening the knees. And then if you want to go a little bit bigger, you could actually bring your head up to meet your knee and your knee to meet your head. Paying attention to the front of your spine. So you're long when you do this. You inhale to open, you exhale to close. If you want to do something a little more advanced, you inhale to open and you exhale with both knees to close. Do what's appropriate for you. Last one. Keep your knees into your chest, put your head back down. Rock side to side, take the tension out of the low back. So when we do anything with the legs are attached. One of the leg muscles is attached to the low back. So it can actually be a little aggravating for some of you with low back issues. So if you need to modify. Take your legs nice and long here. Let's do a little to strengthen the psoas muscle, which is muscle attached to the low back here. So be careful and pay attention to what's appropriate for you. The arms out to the side may be nice and supportive of activating the upper chest and the rib cage area. So we're going to lift our leg to strengthen our psoas, really important. So let's begin with the legs on the ground. Take an exhale. Inhale, lift your left leg about 6 inches off the floor. Take a couple of breaths here. Lift 6 more inches. Hold here. Pay attention to what happens to the low back. Pay attention to what happens to the core. Pay attention to the leg. 6 more inches. Last time, 6 more inches. Let's lower 6 inches. Lower 6 inches. Lower 6 inches. If you need the knee to be bent, you could bend your knee. So if this is too intense, lower 6 inches, hover from the floor 6 inches. And then go ahead and release completely. Let your body just relax here. So feel relaxation. There's low back stuff here. You have to contract your core so you feel like you're hugging your lumbar spine here to protect your lumbar spine. Let's exhale. Inhale, lift the leg 6 inches. Inhale, 6 more inches. Six more inches. 6 more inches. And then lower 6 inches. And then 6 more inches. And then 6 more inches. Hovering 6 inches from the ground, contract your core, make sure you're hugging your core, and then go ahead and lower. Let your legs go. Feel that they're heavy. Take your legs pretty far apart here, and let's bring the toes towards each other, toes away. Try to keep your legs straight here when you do this. This is actually hip joint. Feel the relaxation, hopefully. And then draw your knees towards your chest. Draw your knees in. So this adds flexion to the low back. Let's come into a happy baby. So holding on underneath your hamstring area, feel the leg bone and feel your wrist bones or your lower arm bones pressing down. That gives you a stretch. For those of you that can reach up and grab your big toes with your legs spread, make sure your legs are spread. A lot of people try to grab the big toes, but then they bring the legs together. And that's not what we want. We want that really wide leg position, slight bend in your knee, or you could even grab onto your foot where you have the hands on the outside and the thumb or the fingers on the outside, thumbs on the inside. Lots of inner thigh, lots of low back. This can help take away the tension in the low back that some of what we did may have stimulated. And then go ahead, draw your knees into your chest. And then roll onto your side. Take your hands onto the ground. Take a couple of breaths here, so take a break. And then leading with your shoulder, push yourself up to seated. Sure, you can hear all that out there. We're in London, so who knows what's going on out there. Let me just see where I'm at time-wise. Okay, good. I have some time. All right, so all right, I don't see what's going on out there, but there was a protest yesterday, not a protest, but on the steps. I'm in Trafalgar Square, and so there's this big, all these streets converge there, and that's where the National Gallery is. There's a big, beautiful open area, and there was a protest there yesterday. So anyway, who knows what's going on, so hopefully that's not too distracting. And if it is, let that be life. Let that be that's us managing to be within ourselves, to feel what's happening in our own bodies, to be in this present moment, regardless of what's taking place in our surrounding environment. All right, let's come onto all fours and let's do a little crawling. Crawl around wherever you are. Crawling, really let your hands be wide here. So make yourself like very, very big surface here. Those of you that have wrist issues, if you can't even do a little bit of this, come up onto your fingers if your wrists are really bothering you. Otherwise, really flat palmed, fingers are pretty spread, and you crawl around your area, crawl to the side. Keep your head lifted though. Keep your head lifted as you do this. And then let's all come onto our fingers. So come up onto your fingers, and yeah, it's going to feel a little intense. And then try it where the thumbs are going in towards the center. We need to strengthen our fingers. And then come on to fists. Fists for wrists. So you're on that very first, from one knuckle to the other. And crawl around. And if knees are not happy, maybe be on a blanket. Crawling, crawling, crawling until you come to a position where you can actually come onto all fours. And let's roll around in our hips, roll around in our shoulders. Roll around
And then start to actually not just roll, but actually dance in your joints. Dance in your hips, dance in your shoulders. Push yourself from side to side. And then push yourself back and forward. Back and forward. And then take your legs really wide. Take your hands forward and wide. Let's go back. Bring your forehead to the ground if you can. Inhale forward into a back bend. Exhale, bend your hip joint, lengthen your spine. Come back into puppy dog. Feel the stretch underneath the arms. Palms are spread. Inhale, open your throat. Pull your ribs away from your pelvis. Exhale back. Really bend your hip. Let this mostly be the hip. Let the hip unbend and let the hips bend. Feel that deep stretch in the belly. Inhale, open, exhale. One more inhale and exhale. Bring yourself forward and up. Come so that you have your hands underneath your body. Hopefully you're feeling okay in your wrists. So take your hands underneath. Let's take one foot back and really stretch the feet. Stretch the calf. Stretch the back of your body. We did a lot today with the bridge posture. Moving quite a bit in bridge, doing a lot of posterior work. And then let's bring the other foot back. Toes flip under, stretching the foot, stretching the toes, stretching the calf, the heel, plantar fascia, Achilles tendon, calves. And then let's take one foot back, the other foot back, bend one knee, bend the other. Lift one knee off, lift the other knee off, one knee down, and then the other. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, stay here, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, one knee down, exhale, other knee down, exhale. Inhale, exhale, bend your hips, put your forehead on the ground, lengthen your arms. Coming into child's pose if you do not have osteoporosis. So if you do not have osteoporosis, come into child's posture where you let your tushy touch your heels. You could either leave your arms straight or bring your arms down alongside your body. Forehead touches the ground. This is child's posture, but I would not do this if you have osteoporosis. If you have osteoporosis, you keep the hip joint bent, you keep the spine long, you stay in your puppy dog. Breathe to your belly. Take one more breath. Take your arms forward, long and wide. Bring yourself back up. Flip your toes under. Knees are wide, arms are wide. Inhale. Exhale, push yourself back, lift your knees up. Inhale to lower your knees, bring your head forward. Exhale, bend your knees, push your tushy up. Inhale to bend. Exhale, contract your core, push your belly button towards your spine, protect your back. Inhale. Last one, exhale to lift, stay here. Bend one knee at a time, trying to push your
heel towards the ground, especially the pinky toe edge. And then push both heels towards the ground. Exhale. Inhale forward. Exhale. Try to keep your knees straight if you can. Try to keep your head looking forward. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your knees. One, the other. And come into puppy dog. Try to put either your chin on the floor or your forehead. Arms are feel your heart beating. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back. Bring yourself up. Close your eyes. Either sitting on your heels if you can, or sit in a crisscross leg position, or anything you'd like. I'd like you to close your eyes. Go inside. Notice what you notice. From here with this nice calm awareness, we're going to come down onto the ground. So keeping the eyes closed if you can, or barely opening your eyes, to bring yourself down onto the ground for the integration of everything that was done in the practice today, to allow the dust to settle. Legs could be straight or knees could be bent. Legs could be on a chair, up the wall, whatever. Pillow under your head if you'd like it or need it. Let's take the hands onto the belly. Spread the fingers. Breathing down to your belly. Mouth is closed. Go inward. Practice pratyahara, sensory withdrawal. Practicing sensory withdrawal to bring yourself into whatever you notice in your body. Keep your awareness on your breath, on your belly, inside, to notice what you notice. And for these last few breaths, noticing your belly, your pelvis, your low back, your upper back, your neck, your face, your chest, your legs. Take your last breath. begin to move your body, whatever way your body wants to move. Let your body guide you. Eventually moving so that your knees are into your chest. All the way onto your side. And taking your hand on the ground. Try to stay nice and quiet. Try to stay inside. Try to stay here in your moment, in wherever you are. Really internal with your awareness. Bring your hands together, rub your hands together and feel that. Feel the fingers, feel the hands, feel yourself as you rub your hands together, and then come to your heart. Hands press into each other, feel that. Then press your heart to your hands to your heart. Nice lengthened spine, lengthened back, neck. Feel nice and as tall as you can here in this. And your heart is lifting. So you're nice and open in your chest. We're going to close with sound. Let's close with the sound Om. The sound Om is a blending of the ah, o, sound. The vowels from A over U and then to an M. It's your human sound with an exhale. So pay attention to the sound as it comes up your spine, starting in the throat, moving through your mouth, widening into the O and the U sound, and then closing with the vibration sound. And notice the vibration in your heart, your throat, your head, all the way up to the crown. Let's take a deep exhale to create a lot of space in your lungs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the breath out. Inhale. Lips are touching. Bowing your head towards your heart. Closing with gratitude, with respect for each other. Namaste. How do you feel? Hopefully this wasn't too distracting, the whatever is happening outside. I was trying to listen to pay attention to see what it was. Yesterday there was a group out in Trafalgar Square for support for Ukraine, Stand for Ukraine. And I saw the beginning of it, and then at the end I know it was dispersed by the police. I was trying to listen to what is taking place outside now. I couldn't hear the words. I was just thinking about the passion and the energy of whatever's happening outside right now. All right. Sharon, hi, nice to see you here. Great. Yeah, Martha, you're asking about that. So I don't watch news. I try not to really pay attention to too much. My kids have been filling me in because they're on social media. So they've been filling me in on a lot of what's happening. I haven't noticed anything in terms of tension here or fear here. I have noticed, like I said, there was a group yesterday gathering. Just what I'm seeing is just a lot of support for Ukraine and different, my kids are telling me different aspects of what's happening. So yeah, I just see a lot of support. And I think that what I did here too is opening up space for refugees. So I've had that, but nothing fear-based, nothing fear-based. So, but then again, that's because I'm not watching anything that would stimulate that. So I don't know. Great. Good, Joanne. Well, I have to say that knowing who's here today, I believe you all to be very strong women, regardless of your age and your issues in your tissues. And I know that some of you here have osteoporosis, which is why I shared the osteoporosis
aspects, that's really important. And even if you do have osteoporosis and you have a diagnosis of osteoporosis, just having awareness of how you're moving is really important. And I was thinking about that. If I had osteoporosis myself in my spine, I have osteopenia, not osteoporosis, I still would do the child's posture. I would do it understanding my spine and still trying to really not put forward pressure on that front part of my spine, not trying to push the front part of my spine into itself with all the movements that we do. So really making more movement happen here, more lower down, and lengthening your spine as you go. So I just consider, I know that you're all strong and you want to maintain your strength. And today I actually came in and out, into the strength, out of the strength. And then you decide that maybe for you, you don't lift your knees off the floor for the next breath. Maybe you do one breath and that's intense. And then the next two breaths, your knees are on the ground. And if you practice like this with this movement aspect of the practice, then you can introduce the tension and the power, and then you can move away from it. So I think it's a really nice way to keep ourselves healthy and strong forever. Yeah, Sharon, I am in London. Until tomorrow, I come home tomorrow. I was in Spain, Scotland, and England. Yeah, Carolyn. Was it really relaxing, Carolyn? Hopefully it was pretty, there was a strength part too. Lynn and Dave, I don't know if I knew you were here. Wow. Okay, Dave. So I didn't know if there was any boys present. I know Steve watches, so he's probably there. He'll email me and say, yeah, I was there. So I wonder how that was for you today, Dave. Lots of movement, right? And hopefully you guys were all able to do that. Great, Stevie. Good, Martha. Tatiana. Yeah, Tatiana, I know. I'm letting you say that. I wasn't going to say that about that, but Tatiana is from Ukraine and this is her country. So today, when I was speaking about having stress in our lives and how important it is to have our place of refuge, and I can't even imagine what you're going through. I know this past year with my mom having so much need in my life to take care of my mom. You know, she fell in June 2021 and has gone into a place of total care. She cannot really care for herself anymore. And with all of my tools and wisdom of yoga, it was really hard to find my peace in all of that. And we need to try to find the eye of the storm. So really creating the eye of the storm. So even when the storm is happening, trying to find that. So yes, you will get victory, Tatiana. That's my hope and prayer for all humans in the world. And especially for Ukraine right now and Ukrainians that are not in their country. So yes. Yeah, thanks, Joanne, Carolyn, good. Yeah, Sharon, I don't love Spanish food's not good for me because I don't eat meat, so everything is ham. I ate patatas bravas everywhere I went. Spain was hard for me because I don't eat pork. But yeah, I can't wait to come back and make my green smoothies and my daily oatmeal with my dates and my cinnamon and all the things that I do to be healthy. Yeah, Martha, peace to her country, right? Oh, Martha, I just saw on Instagram a few days ago a birth in the ocean. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but I know that you were there for a lot of births. This woman gave birth right at the water's edge. I thought that was like fascinating that she did that. Anyway, all right, I'm off to eat. You can see it's dark for me. It's almost 6 o'clock, right? No, wait, 5:30. It's almost 7. So my son and I are going to go to one of my favorite Indian restaurants in London. It's called Dishoom. I don't even know if we'll get a table. Probably not, but anyway, we're going to try. Yes, we are there with you, Tatiana, with all humans, with all support. All right. Bye, ladies. Like if you like, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Thank you for joining me. I'm here because you're there, and hopefully you feel good. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the day. For those of you that have lots of the rest of the day left to live today. All right. Bye, everyone. See you next week.